Hi friends, it's Maria DB. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, May 28th, 2025. Last night marked the first part of the four-part tell-all for Sister Wives, and I thought I couldn't get more frustrated with Kody and Robyn, but here we are. I'm even more annoyed with them now. Let me tell you, both Kody and Robyn clashed with production about cooperating for this tell-all. Kody was combative and argumentative, raising his voice and adopting a loud posture over basic questions. He demanded accountability from the other women and attempted to rewrite history. He even admitted that it's easy to poke fun at him because he has no filter. But I don't think that's the real reason people criticize him. It's more about pointing out his narcissistic behavior. But whatever. Kody mentioned that he often says 5 things and then decides which one will be his version of the truth, which I guess is his way of admitting he rewrites history. It was interesting to hear Meri admit for the first time that she was going to the tell-all and would not lie. She said that if you speak your truth, you don't have to remember a story or stick to it. So, how many times have these people walked into tell-alls in the past and just lied? When everyone has been lying for so long, how can we know who's telling the truth now? This is the tricky part about the show, the family, and the world of polygamy. So many lies have been told to keep the show running that it's hard to discern the truth. Even now, there are still aspects of the whole truth that haven't been discussed. As I mentioned, Kody and Robyn refused to fully participate. Robyn, in particular, refused to watch the clips with Suki to discuss what happened this season. She wouldn't watch Kody's conversations with the other women or any clips featuring herself and Kody. However, in this first episode of the tell-all, there weren't many conversations between Kody and Robyn that she would have needed to respond to. It mostly focused on Kody's split with Meri, his lack of respect for Christine, and his interactions with Janelle, with Robyn commenting on Kody's feelings about these splits, which felt odd. Suki greeted everyone and asked what their movie would be for this season of their lives, but Robyn wasn't asked. Everyone else answered. Kody said, Point Break. Meri said, Wild. Christine said, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Janelle said, Fried Green Tomatoes, while Robyn said nothing. It seems like Robyn doesn't have to do half the work that everyone else does. Kody already stated he would protect Robyn from parts of the tell-all, which apparently means she doesn't have to watch the clips to respond. I wonder if Robyn avoids watching the show or what people say about it so she can remain in her little bubble without facing accountability. I don't know, but both Kody and Robyn were off the rails. It was uncomfortable, especially since they didn't mention Garrison at all and won't address his passing during the tell-all, which is their choice. However, Kody is rewriting history regarding his split with Janelle, now claiming he was done with her, which simply isn't true. Here are some of his troubling comments. There was some affinity that I had for Robyn that was significant. In my mind, I wanted to elevate all my relationships to that point, and that's what I felt like I was working for. He also said, You cannot ever blame the fact that Robyn and I had a deep connection. She was good at communicating with me, loving me, and negotiating with you. If I could decipher what Kody was saying, it seems he believes that Robyn figured out early on that to get her way with him, she needed to cater to him and constantly remind him of how amazing and godly he was. What he found in Robyn was a woman willing to enable his bad behavior as long as her own needs were met. She enabled his narcissism, jealousy, and anger, explaining away his bad behavior and hiding his deceptive actions. She would do all of this and then give him all the intimacy he wanted. In return, he would protect her and make everyone else act like her. Essentially, he said, Robyn came in and worships the ground I walk on, constantly reminding me how great I am, and in turn, I get things from her. She negotiates with me, meaning she figures out how to get her way and manipulates me to do what she wants. Because she fuels his narcissistic supply and constantly reassures him of his greatness, he prefers her company over others who remind him of his shortcomings. Kody's explanation for why things didn't work with Christine was absurd. He claimed, "It's hard for me to be happy when I'm constantly reminded of how unhappy I am and how unhappy she is." One would think that if both he and his wife were unhappy, he would seek to understand why and try to make her feel seen and validated. But in Kody's world, it's all about him. I don't believe he has a deep relationship with Robyn. Rather, she manipulates him into thinking she loves him and says the right things to get what she wants. She's simply better at manipulation than he is. Janelle even suggested that Kody isn't clever enough to be a schemer, implying that Robyn is the one orchestrating things behind the scenes. I had more respect for Meri than for Janelle, and probably more respect for both of them than for Christine. Janelle mentioned that Meri was focused on making Kody happy and ensuring special moments, but Kody countered saying, "She was great at cooking me a meal, but I don't think she was fixated on my happiness because I was struggling to find happiness while being reminded of her unhappiness." What bothers me about this entire conversation with Kody regarding these women is that instead of justifying their situation around polygamy, why don't they admit that polygamy doesn't work? Why not acknowledge that if Kody doesn't want to make things work with one of the women, he doesn't have to? Kody has expressed that he loves being worshipped. Throughout his life, when he was married to 3 women and had all those kids, he was the center of attention, and everyone praised him. In their culture and church, he didn't have to do anything because his role was to be the priesthood authority, and everyone looked at him as if he were God. He holds a position where he doesn't have to do anything because, in his eyes and faith, he's perfect. No one has to conform to him because why would they? If he complains, he can just go to Robyn or someone else's house who won't complain. Why not stop pretending that the relationships are based on merit and just admit that he left his family for another woman? He was never in a true polygamous relationship after meeting Robyn. Once he left with her, why not just say, "I left with Robyn"? How hard would it be for him to admit that? He should stop gaslighting everyone and making the women justify his actions. It's time to validate these women and stop trying to make Kody see that he's wrong because he never will. How can he have 6 children with Christine and then say she was good at making him a meal but had no respect for her? He was married to her, even if not legally, and he had an intimate relationship with her. You had children with her and showed up only when she was ovulating. She prepared meals for you, but beyond that, you didn't respect her or care about her needs or desires. To you, Christine was merely an object. It's understandable why she would feel embarrassed. Who would want to be with someone who holds them in such low esteem? It's baffling that he questions why she lacks respect for him. If someone is constantly being emotionally, mentally, and physically belittled, how could they possibly have any self-worth? His cruelty is evident. To him, Christine was only valuable for the meals she provided. How can someone say that about a person they spent years with and had children with? He claimed he tried hard to elevate his other relationships to what he believed ours was. But a relationship is fundamentally about the 2 people involved. Is he suggesting that the level of communication should be like Robyn's? That's completely false. Kody and Robyn came to this tell-all with a new lie, claiming that their relationship was so wonderful that he wanted all the women to emulate Robyn. What he really wanted was for them to be good communicators, which translates to flattering him, never challenging him, and worshiping him. He expects them to negotiate through sex and to comply with his demands. If they just act like Robyn, who idolizes him because of his wealth, then they can be accepted. It frustrates me that Robyn claims relationships are between two people, as that contradicts the essence of polygamy. Kody's vision was always about him and the family, not just him and Robyn, or any of the other wives. Now he wants everyone to be like Robyn, and she seems fine with that, blaming others for not conforming while ignoring that she and Kody are the ones pushing this unrealistic expectation. They seem to believe they are superior to everyone else. A source told me that at Garrison's funeral, Kody and Robyn acted as if they were above everyone else, which shows they think they are more loved by God and more divine than others. When asked if he ever tried to uplift her, she said no, and she feels it's unfair for him to claim otherwise. Why should she have to be like Robyn? She wants to be her own person, not someone else. After everyone disagrees with Kody's notion that everyone should be like Robyn, each wife denies that he ever made that effort. If he did, they felt he didn't show it. Meri pointed out that it's not fair to expect her to behave like Robyn, especially after being with him for so long. It's unreasonable to ask women who have been with him for years to act as if they have no history with him. It's easy for Robyn to be that way since she hasn't experienced the struggles and challenges that the others have faced with him. She didn't face the same struggles as the other women, but then the conversation shifts back to the divorce between Kody and Meri, which raises questions. Why revisit this? During the discussion about the legal divorce, Kody's behavior is odd. Christine believes that Robyn influenced him to pursue the divorce, planting ideas in his mind. Robyn denies this, despite having been recorded discussing how, once the kids reached a certain age, they wouldn't have to live with them because they weren't adopted. She kept pushing for adoption, but only if Kody married her first. However, the reality is that behind the scenes, Robyn was clearly telling him to choose her over Meri. That's the rumor, and I believe it. Meri now feels that the situation wasn't as it seemed, especially after Kody ran off post-divorce. Kody, on the other hand, blames the catfishing incident for the breakdown, even though he had already abandoned her by that point. He claims he left because of the catfishing, showing a lack of accountability. He suggests that Meri's current doubts about the divorce stem from a belief that he always intended to leave her. Christine thinks this was the moment the family began to fall apart. Janelle agrees, stating that Kody couldn't have come to that conclusion on his own and that someone else must have influenced him. Both Christine and Janelle assert that Robyn pressured him into this decision, making Meri feel as if it was her idea. Kody expresses frustration that Meri has made new friends, showing that he was controlling her social interactions during their marriage. He has always restricted who they could talk to, and it seems he doesn't like the influence of her new friends. This suggests that he controlled their friendships, even down to who they could associate with. Kody mentions a pattern where Meri would jump from friend to friend, complaining about him, and he claims she told church leaders that she felt abandoned. While Robyn played a significant role in the split between Meri and Kody, pushing for the legal divorce, Kody went along with it because it aligned with his desires. Now, they are trying to portray Meri as gaslighting herself, suggesting that her friends are the ones feeding her false ideas about him. This is classic abusive language, implying that her friends are untrustworthy and that her perceptions are influenced by them. If Meri can talk to someone who offers a different perspective, free from Kody's influence, that doesn't mean she's gaslighting herself. Kody and Robyn refuse to discuss what really happened, which is strange because they previously claimed the divorce was for the sake of the kids and adoption. Now they say nothing about that. Meri questions whether there was a master plan all along, and Kody refuses to acknowledge this, instead blaming her friends for her thoughts. He dislikes what he sees in her newfound independence and can no longer control her. Robyn, meanwhile, avoids taking a side, as they have differing views on the situation, and she also disagrees with the notion that Kody abandoned Meri. A couple of seasons ago, Robyn stated that she couldn't blame Meri for leaving since Kody didn't want to be with her. How much more abandoned can someone feel when their husband never visits? He claims Meri is still his wife, yet on television, he says he doesn't consider himself married to her. Kody uses the catfishing incident as an excuse to avoid taking responsibility for running off with Robyn. All they need to do is admit they fell in love, left the family, and made everyone pretend for years. Now, 15 years later, they're still avoiding the truth, which is typical behavior for narcissists. Kody is present in a very real way, but their differing views on the situation seem to frustrate him. Regarding the church's stance on abandonment, it doesn't always release someone for that, especially if the person requested it. Robyn has been involved in their marriage for 15 years, yet she claims it's not her fault and that the disagreements are solely between Kody and Meri. She acted as a mediator and claimed to understand Kody better than anyone else, but now she distances herself from the fallout. Meri received her release because she spoke out about Kody, and they disagree on what happened. Kody initially said he would stay married to Meri, but after the divorce, he essentially checked out. Meri had already felt abandoned by him for years. Robyn seems to downplay Meri's situation, even though she was aware of the catfishing friend and had interactions with her during that time. I suspect Robyn may have even encouraged the catfishing incident, which originated from her Facebook group. Now, Robyn claims it's just between Kody and Meri, despite having created many of the issues. She insists Meri wasn't truly abandoned because Kody is so present. It's easy for Robyn to say that, but what will happen when Kody turns his back on her? How can she be with someone who treats others this way? If he did it to them, he could easily do it to her, and he might already be doing so. They are living in a level of delusion and dishonesty, having been caught lying multiple times. TLC doesn't hold them accountable for their actions, and they refuse to acknowledge the harm they've caused. The other women who left are forced to relive their experiences while their abusers deny what happened. It's a terrible situation, and these women need to step away from the show. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.